like hoe phase? You say a hoe phase? Do you think a hoe phase is beneficial for women? Do you think most women should do that?
I don't think we should tell women what to do. If they want to have a hoe phase, they can. But I think it's just whatever they want. There's no, I mean, I would say it's good because you can have loads of sex, and what's wrong with that? People should do what they want. I'm not going to tell them if it's good or bad. You know?
Well, I'm not saying you should tell people what to do. I'm just asking, do you think it's more beneficial than not beneficial?
Each to their own. I wouldn't pass judgment on that. I wouldn't say anything about if it's good or bad.
What about for guys? Do you think it's more beneficial?
Yeah, I think it's beneficial. Just we started out saying men need to have.
Why is it beneficial for guys, Jess?
Men need to have sex and be good in bed, get better.
Why do you not say the same for women?
Because sex is really a man having sex. It's a man is the person who's doing it all, really.
What do you mean?
In sex, it's about a man being good. It doesn't really matter about if a woman's good or not. I mean, you know what I'm saying. In sex, it's about a man.
You don't think a woman can be good or bad in bed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But the majority of sex is just like a man having, I don't know how to say it.
I don't know what you mean. There's two people having sex here, Jess.
No, but it's the man. It's the man that's doing it, really. Women just sort of lay there. We don't really.
I think that's a reflection of your experience and your friends.
I'm basing myself out. I promise I'm not
all right, guys,
princess.
This is not a reflection of what she does. Maybe it is.
But you know what I mean?
Maybe it isn't.
It's men who have the sex. Sex is good if a man is good, Okay, I'm not explaining this well.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think that's I don't think sex is just the woman lying there and the guy's just performing.
I've dug myself into a hole.
You can rephrase if you want. Do you want to rephrase?
Yeah.
Go for it. What do you mean?
Sex is about a man, being good in bed. Okay, I don't know how to phrase it. Sorry.
Okay. Are you saying correct me if I'm wrong, right? Or adjust accordingly. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that the performance of sex comes from the man more than the woman? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Of course.
Which is
I'm not doing the penetration. The man is. The man is doing it.
Fair, that depends, okay? Man. Because some guys want to be pegged, but it is what it is. Okay. So you don't think the woman performs in the act of sex as well?
Yes, she performs, but the majority of it is a man performing to the women. Hence why I'm not riding for the same amount of time that he's doing everything, It's majority of the time it's a man.
Well, that really depends on between you and the man, I think. I think that's really on taste and preference. I mean, I find it interesting that you would say that though, you would tell men that they should definitely go get experience, but for women, you're like, it is what like either or, because that's the difference, right? Mm-hmm. Is that equal?
Why? What? I think sex isn't equal. If sex was 50-50, in my opinion, it's not. It's more about the man having sex with the woman. It's more like him doing it. So therefore, he should have more experience. Woman doesn't really do much as much. I don't know. Why are we differing so much on this?
No, I'm just. All I'm saying is that I'm just saying that your subscription to men in regards to their sexual experience and what you would say they should do is very different to women. And I'm just asking.
I personally think
that
I would like a man with more experience because then they are better in bed.
Sure.
A man can easily sit here and say more the same thing. I want a woman with more experience because she's better in bed.
Sure.
But I don't think that women need to have that much experience to be better in bed because they don't do as much as men do when they're having sex.
I hear you. And you know what? I don't even necessarily disagree with you. But it's not equal.
Because sex isn't equal. Because it's more men doing it. That's what I'm saying. It's equity, not equality,
Well, I would say that they're both equal in value, right? In the act.
Right, yeah.
But their roles are different.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that plays out through life. That's what I've been saying this entire conversation about relationships, about the masculine and feminine, about men and women, that they're not equal, they're equal in value, but their roles and responsibilities are different.
Who says? Why should a man have a different responsibility to a woman just because he's a man and she's a woman? Why?
Well, I was saying more about the masculine and feminine because you can have a masculine woman who does that.
Yeah.
Right? But in order to have sex, different roles have to be played. Right?
You cannot just use sex and as a reference to relationships. See, that's bizarre. In sex, a man is penetrating the woman, right?
She can penetrate him too. She can.
Okay.
Not with the same equipment, but she can.
Okay. My experience with sex, I have nothing, against pegging, but I don't want to do that. A man is doing majority of the work in sex, okay? Because someone would be very offended. They'd be like, no, they do the majority of work in their sex. Someone would say that. Okay.
All I'm saying is that with sex, right, you acknowledge that there's a different role that the two individuals can play.
Because one of them is penetrating and the other one isn't.
Sure, if it's going to be in the conventional way, for sure, right? And so because of that, your subscription for men and women is different.
In sex.
Yeah.
Not in relationships. It's just in sex.
Okay. So all I'm saying is what I'm referring to, I'm just applying that principle.
But you can't. You can't just apply it in different contexts. No, you can't. That's bizarre.
Why is it bizarre?
Because that's sex. That's a different thing to relationships. You can't just generalize to something else. You can't extrapolate.
Do you not think people have different strengths that they bring to the relationship?
Yes.
Okay. So would it not be fair for them to operate in those strengths?
Yeah.
And wouldn't that benefit the relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair to say that maybe some people will look for something that's more complementary to the strengths they have as opposed to being the same? Because maybe someone has strengths where they feel weak and vice versa?
I don't look in relationships with someone who has.
No, I'm asking, could you understand if people operate that way?
Fine, okay. I
Okay,
guess. Sometimes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it has to be that, but I'm saying that's what we see. And I'm saying that when it comes to different roles and responsibilities we choose to play based on where we sit within ourselves, that's why I'm like, it's not about a man and woman thing, because you can have a woman who's leading, etc., and a man whose strengths are more in the feminine. That's fine.
Don't like the leading and the following.
I know you don't.
Because it's stemming from back, our grandmothers and great grandmothers, mothers of having to submit to their husbands. So in 2025, I don't like it to see someone, mainly the woman, submitting and just following the lead of her boyfriend or her husband. Yeah,
you said about extrapolating it to relationships between men and women. I'm just saying that people who have certain strengths in certain areas can look for someone who complements them because maybe that other person has strengths in areas that they don't have, and that can be quite admirable and attractive.
Okay.
Right? And a lot of the time, that's what I mean when I say about polarity, about attraction, right? Because of course, there are going to be some things where you're going to look for the same things in the person, right? So if you're emotionally intelligent, right, you can be like, I want to be with someone who's emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
I fall into that category, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, I want someone who's emotionally illiterate. Right? So there are definitely some things where I think when it comes to values, in terms of the values of the person, right, and who they're going to be with you, that are going to be the same for sure. They should be the same. Right. I think that's what works best.
Right.
But when I'm talking about attraction, because the difference between my best friend being my best friend and my best friend being my lover is that there's no attraction there.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because there's no polarity there.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's very similar to me in a lot of ways. So we work great as a working team, but could we be in a relationship? Absolutely not. We could not be in a relationship together. Obviously, I'm not gay, but I'm just saying for the sake of this conversation. Do you have friends of yours that you're like, I love you to death, but I couldn't be in a relationship with you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What makes you say that you wouldn't be in a relationship
with them? I'm not attracted to them sexually.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
That's my point. The polarity.
But that we're very similar. But
there's no polarity between you when it comes to the attraction, which is why you're not attracted to them.
I just think you're just not attracted to them.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the attraction comes from polarity. You don't think so?
No.
Okay. I tried, guys. I tried. What's one last thing you want to bring to conversation? And we'll wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to chat about?
No.
You watched she did some research. She watched a few of my videos to come and chat about something. Oh, there was definitely one thing you wanted to talk about. You wanted to talk about what did you say? You want to talk about how if a man says he don't want a relationship, she's not taking no for an answer, and a guy approaches a girl and that's him not taking no for an answer. You're like, that's not the same thing.
Oh, in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that a man should stop asking a woman to go out with him if he says no if she says no once.
I agree.
Yeah. And then you said because if a woman was in a bar and a man came up to her and asked for a number, he wouldn't keep pestering because that would be harassment, right?
Yeah, it would, yeah.
And I just thought that it was a funny parallel. I don't know. If a man came up to me and kept pestering me, obviously harassment, and I'd ask for Angela if I was in a bar.
Yeah.
But if a guy that I was worked with or something asked me a few times, obviously not really close together, but if I said no and then we hang out more or something, and in maybe just one-on-one or in a more people, like a social setting, if he asked me again, I wouldn't really have an issue with that. If we were having a good time and laughing together, I didn't see that as harassment. I think men should, ask a few times if you guys are having fun. And
whoa. So you're saying
what?
If a guy asks you out once, you say no. You're saying that him asking you out again more than once because it's a different environment, you don't think that's harassment? It's not very feminist of you to say.
No, I don't even know what we were saying about this point. That if you guys were hanging out again and again, you said that. I can't remember where we were going with this point, to be honest.
I think the original point. So
yeah.
So okay, so I was saying if a guy and a girl, if they're like in a situation and she says she wants a relationship and he says he doesn't for whatever reason, and then so she stays in the casual relationship, right? Not because she wants to, but because she wants to change his mind.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That's silly. Yeah.
That's her not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's no. It's not taking no for an answer because they were already intimate. They were already having sex. It's not just randomly at a bar, a stranger. Hold
on, but there's a difference between a casual relationship and a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in a casual relationship. She's saying that she wants a serious one. He's saying for whatever reason he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
So if she's staying, to try and change his mind to get into a serious one,
that's silly.
That's her not taking no for an answer.
It's not necessarily the same though as going up to a random person in a bar.
Do you agree that's not her taking no for an answer?
100%. Okay. She shouldn't be asking, again and again. It's silly to think that you could change a man's mind,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that in that example, right? She's not taking no for an answer because the reason she's staying, right, is not because she wants something casual, but because she's trying to get something else.
I think it could be both. She probably wants to just...
Well, we're saying if she stays because she wants something,
right?
Yeah, So that's her not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
Right. So when a guy approaches you in a bar, right, or an environment,
that's harassment. That's a stranger coming up to you. That is harassment. But
I didn't say it's not harassment.
Sorry.
I didn't say it's not harassment.
It's very different to a woman staying, having sex because in the hopes of being in a relationship and later.
I'm not saying that one isn't harassment, but they're both not taking no for an answer.
I see, yeah.
Right? And so I think, like, if a guy approached you and you just said no, I don't think he should try again.
Yeah.
I don't think under different circumstances or different environments, I don't think he should, right? Because that's what I would say. You're harassing her, bro, because she already told you.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I think part of the reason why it's more considered harassment is because of the differences between men and women, because men are more generally bigger, stronger, more imposing, more seen as a threat, right? Whereas, of course, in this situation, of course, she's not seen as a physical threat, so we don't see it as harassment, but the principle of her not taking no for an answer is still the same, right? If she's trying again or she's trying to stay there, because if she's staying in the casual, right, really for the relationship, then not only is she kind of lying to him, but she's also kind of lying to herself.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing